guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Saabythesimmer. I hope you're doing well today. So we're back with another speed build. I've been sitting on the speed build for a little while, not super long, but a little while. I had another video that I started filming but I haven't finished yet, so I'm tempted to make it into a shell just because I made this like big modern farmhouse and I just struggled to finish it. So I started this because I saw it on Pinterest and I really liked the look of it, so I thought I'd try and recreate it in The Sims. So I do have a reference image for you for this speed build that we're doing it today, and I will leave it on the screen for you to see so you can see what I had to work with. So with this build, I was in a state of absolute delusion, and I'll say that right now, because I thought I got through this build so super quickly and that this was going to be a quick speed build. I'm pretty sure it's like 41 minutes. I think the full video is longer than that, but I think altogether the footage is like 40 minutes or something like that, sped up, edited. So I'm hoping as I go through this voiceover there's some things I can probably cut out, just because I feel like when I'm looking at it now it might look slightly different to me. But I did something slightly different this time around with the speed build. I kind of worked at like along with the build, added wallpapers, trims and things like just details to the build as I was going along. If you've been watching my videos, you kind of know that I have a bit of a pattern, I guess, as to how I build. I normally get a shell done first, probably add windows, doors, floor plan, and then I go with like exterior details, interior details, all that kind of stuff, and then we kind of get to furnishing. But this time around, I thought I would just go with what I see at the time and then just follow through with the reference images I saw and try and get it all coming together quite quickly. I say quickly, again, this is a long speed build. So maybe get a snack, maybe get a drink, get something, because it's going to be a little while. I feel like my throat hasn't fully cleared up yet, so I have to keep stopping to clear my throat, which is very, very annoying. And I feel like I'm still out of the loop of speed builds, because I feel like it's been a while since I've done one, and I think it has been a while. So I decided to, at first, in my mind, I thought I'd be using base game windows, but when I put down the cats and dogs windows, I actually really liked the way they looked, so I just stuck with them. And I didn't want to go crazy with the windows, but I wanted there to be a lot of natural light. I feel like I probably could have added a few more windows, maybe to like the side, but in the end, I just kept it the way it was. I think I didn't want to add like too many windows and like go crazy with it. I like debated with myself. I was like, Sabrina, you use the the Desert Luxe slidey door, bifold doors all the time. Do something else. So I was trying to do something else, but then I kind of like just accepted fate and went with the Desert Luxe bifold doors, because I literally use them in every single build. Like I can't not use them. Like I use them in every single build. It's a problem. It's a real problem. So I normally figure out floor plan before I figure out where to put stairs, also where I put windows and doors. It just makes it easier for me. That's just how I go about my builds. It's obviously different for everyone. Some people will do a floor plan first or furnish, or I don't know. People just do it different ways. So I like to figure out where all the rooms are going to be before I start adding windows and doors, and then that way I can get windows and doors to be as equal as that, because I like symmetry, okay? I really struggle if it's not symmetrical. I'm not really happy with the Jack and Jill bathroom because it's like a 5 or 4 by 2 or something. It wasn't a good size, but this lot was kind of awkward because it's a nice lot size, but because the house itself kind of turned out a bit big, I think I just didn't use the lot size very well, so I think that's where I struggled, because that bathroom just ended up being a bit too small, but I did what I could with the space. I don't think I added anything special into it, so I don't think you've seen me furnish that bathroom. I can't remember which bathroom you've seen me furnish, but it's probably not that one. I use these roof details that I don't ever normally use in my builds. I don't think I've ever used them before, so I thought I'd give them a try because they are actually in the reference image, so I thought I would give it a go. So this lot is on a 30 by 20 lot size. I can't remember the original name of the lot. It probably is on the screen, but I can't actually remember what it was called because on my screen it's quite small and I can't actually remember what the lot was called. But it was in Henford and Bagley. I think it's the town area. It's not really like the more foresty area. This is a bit more of where the town is, I think, because I was trying to think of where to put a house like this, and if I felt like a house like this in the middle of nowhere would look so odd, whereas this kind of place where it is kind of fitting a bit, and it just looked very British kind of countryside to me. But again, I'm a bit limited on architectural style, so I could be kind of wrong. So on a 30 by 20 lot, it ended up being 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, 2 full bathrooms, 1 half bathroom. If you know my build, you know I always have to squeeze in a half bathroom somewhere. I just love the practicality of it for The Sims, and yeah, I try my best. So you will see me do a garage. I end up switching up that garage for an office space, and then I make it slightly smaller. So you will see me change up that space for it as well. I'm trying to think why I changed it now from a garage to a office. I can't remember why I changed it. I don't know if I was struggling with the door, or I think it was just realism. This lot is already on a raised kind of space, and it would kind of make it difficult to get a car up here because there's no kind of drive. It's essentially just a walk, like a pathway. So I just felt for realism purposes there was no real need for a garage, and obviously in The Sims we don't really have cars that we use. I just felt like it might be a waste of space, and then I decided to just make it into an office space, which could be useful. It is a pricey build. It's definitely not on the cheap side. So it ends up being 109,000 simoleons, 542. So yeah, it's not cheap at all. I did not spare any expenses. I will, however, say that the infant's room ends up being quite plain. Like, I feel like I didn't use a lot of photos in that room or a lot of decorations in that room, but I guess it kind of plays into the storyline as who is living in this house. So I will explain who I thought about living in this house. Because we have infants now, I just really wanted to play into the idea of having infants in this house. But I also just see Hemphill and Bagley as like this retirement central kind of place. Like, I don't know why, I just feel like people come here to retire because it's like quiet and it's calm and it's really just peaceful. So that's just what I have in my mind. It's a bit stereotypical, but that's what I have in my mind. So I have grandparents living here, and their granddaughter has an infant. And I kind of felt like maybe they had that child at a young age. I did think of it as a teen. It's like a teen's had a baby, and the parents weren't very supportive of it, so they've gone to live with their grandparents in Hemphill and Bagley. I thought it would be like just a cute concept to see like grandparents interacting with an infant and like a teen as well. Like, I just thought it'd be a cute concept and kind of fit into the idea of like this house was kind of built for them to have their family come over and stay with them, but they didn't realize that eventually they'd have like a permanent stay of their granddaughter. So I kind of decorated the room like it would be a teen's room, but like still kind of minimal. But I didn't know how to decorate it in a way that told a story of a sense of like this was originally potentially could be a spare room, or maybe it was the teen's mum's room in previous years. But then I feel like I don't know if they've lived here for years, or if this is a newer house that they bought. Not new in terms of it was built newly, but in terms of they bought it fairly recently, if that makes sense. So yeah, I wasn't sure on the timeline of everything because I was thinking probably wasn't the teen's mum's room. It was probably just like the spare room that they had, and they probably had another small spare room, which ends up being the infant's room, which is like they share a bathroom, that Jack and Jill bathroom that I spoke about earlier. But then I tried to figure out floorings and wallpapers. I feel like I cut out the wallpapers because it took me a while to figure out what style I was going for, what colours and tones I was going for. And I feel like I always go for the same colours, especially if I'm doing a slightly older style home. So I ended up going with, it's kind of like an olivey colour, like olive, but then kind of brown as well. It's kind of a weird tone that I went with for like the main part of the house. And then kind of like terracotta tiles. I really like the terracotta tiles. I ended up putting in like the bathroom and the kitchen. And, I think I just put it in the kitchen actually. I don't think I put it in any of the bathrooms, but I liked the way it turned out. We've got a little sun room as well. I called it a conservatory. So I called it a conservatory. Yeah. But some people call it a sunroom, so I guess it just depends on where you are in the world. But I decided to just have like a little sunroom. I don't know, I just loved the concept of it. I wanted it, so I put it in there. Sorry, my head was itchy. So in the reference image, you can't really see that side of the building. It almost looks like it's just where the car is parked. So in the reference image, all you can really see is like the garage thing and the kind of front facade of the house, and then next to it could potentially be where the next house is and their driveway. But obviously, being on the lot that it was, I wanted to make it a bit more realistic, and also I just wanted to have a bit of fun with it as well. So I ended up trying to copy as much as I can from the exterior into the build that you will see on screen. And then when it came to the interiors, I think I saw a floor plan. I can't remember if I looked at a floor plan. I don't think I did. I think I knew in mind I really wanted to have like a really open kind of like double story entryway. So like I've cut off the stairs upstairs so that you can kind of see over the entrance of the door, like the front door basically. I really like the concept of just having it really open and spacious. Because I think I was looking at another build where I just could see the stairs, and I just really liked how you could see the second floor because the stairs were pretty open. So I kind of wanted to follow that through, but then also keep into the fact that this is an older home, so they probably wouldn't have such an open space, but I thought I'd go with it. I can't remember if I tested out that washing machine, because I ended up putting the washing machine in the kitchen, because obviously if I'm going with this kind of British style home, or like just, yeah, British style, kind of like, yeah, I would say kind of British style home, cottagey style home, going that theme, washing machines, they tend to go in the kitchen for us, so I put it in the kitchen, and I ended up using the Parenthood like full tile cabinet piece above it. And I don't remember playtesting it. Now I'm watching it back. I don't remember playtesting it. So I hope that washing machine worked fine. I can't remember, because I feel like I playtested this a little while ago. Like, I think I had this... Well, this video has been sitting in my editing software for about a week now, to be fair. So I think from the 26th of March. When was that? What day was that? No, 27th is when I've edited videos. So I've had it for a little bit longer than that. Yeah, I think about since last Sunday, I guess I probably had it edited. So about a week I've had this video sitting here, because I edited it, started editing the screenshots, and I was like, I don't know if I like this build, I don't know if I like it, but I was like, Sabu, you just spent so much time on it, like, what is happening? But I think I'm just in a bit of a funk at the moment when it comes to my builds. Like, I think as well, I get like this when I don't get to play the game just by playing it. When I'm only editing videos or creating speed builds or filming just for YouTube, it does get a bit hard for me to like enjoy building. So I tend to give myself time to just build random stuff on my laptop, or just build stuff for my game, or just play my game randomly by myself. And that normally tends to help. But because it's just the way things have been, I've been ill, and then been at work, and then like being ill makes you tired. So then I didn't have the energy when I got back from work to even play my game. It was just so many different things going on at the same time. It just meant that it was difficult for me to like get into the game. But we've got the Easter holidays, and I'm planning on spending some time in the game just playing and enjoying myself. And I realized I haven't started like a legacy or anything on my console, which I have all like a lot of packs on. I don't have all the packs, so I really want to explore the packs a bit more and just all the different things with a legacy. So I'm just planning out what that kind of looks like for me. So having it, like, I normally would have a legacy that I play off camera just to keep myself entertained. Because as much as I enjoy at the moment like filming what I'm filming in terms of gameplay and speed builds, sometimes it gets hard to do it when that's the only thing you're filming, or that's the only reason you're playing the game. So I just have to get back into playing the game for myself for a little bit, and then that tends to help get that creative juices flowing. So yeah, that's what I plan on doing. So when I finished up the kitchen, I think I put like the coffee maker in there. I put like a kind of fancy one. I kind of felt like these grandparents wake up in the morning, the first thing they do is put in that coffee machine, and like that's all you can hear in the morning. Like you can just hear the water boiling, or you can smell fresh coffee being made, that kind of vibe. And I thought that they'd probably come out into the conservatory or the sunroom and have a coffee and just chill. They'll probably sit there in silence, just sipping away on their coffee, just enjoying the sunrise or whatever the case may be. They'd probably feed their pets. So I wasn't sure. I was thinking they probably had dogs. But then I wasn't sure if they'd have cats. But then I didn't put any cat trees in. So yeah, I think I settled on dogs. I wasn't sure what kind of pet people they'd be, but I definitely feel like they'd have dogs. Maybe just like to walk around the village with and things like that. I don't know. I just thought it'd be a cute concept to have some like pets. So I thought they'd have dogs. So maybe they'd feed the dogs. Then they'd go and sit in the conservatory and like have a coffee or whatever the hot drinks that you can make on that machine. I just thought it'd be a cute concept, and like probably whip up some breakfast for each other. I just thought there'd be like, I don't know, like a stereotypical old couple where they just get on each other's nerves. Like they love each other, but they probably like find each other very irritating or annoying at times. But I just thought the concept of it was quite cute. And then I think maybe one of the grandparents is a bit more open to having their grandchild live with them with an infant than the other. So I feel like the granddad was probably a bit more open. Maybe he's not spent a lot of time with his granddaughter, so he was a bit more open to it. Whereas the grandmother was just like, ugh, this is not the life she expected. She thought she'd be able to live in heaven on Bagby in peace and quiet, and just live her best life with her dogs and her husband. But now there's going to be a screaming baby, and there's going to be a teen going for all sorts of things as well in their house, which I thought would be a funny concept. So Yeah, that's what I had in mind for the family household and like their dynamics. So I feel like in terms of those dynamics that we got now with growing together, I feel like the granddad would be supportive of his granddaughter, and then the grandmother might be a bit distant or maybe a bit strict. I think strict would probably be a good like family dynamic, and then I feel like it'd be amazing with the infant, because I feel like that tends to be the case, isn't it, in real life? Like your grandparents, they might have problems with you, but when it comes to like the babies, they're just all over them, and like you know, they couldn't do any wrong basically, or like, well, I mean, they're a baby, they can't do wrong, like they're just here vibing, living life. So yeah, I just thought that concept was kind of cute and like relatable in real life. So the dining room comes together pretty quickly. I think you don't see me in the dining room for that long. I did put a high chair in there as well for the infant, and also for when they get to a toddler age. I just thought it would be a cute concept. And then I think once I've done in the dining room, which I just put in dining table, I put in kind of a long one from cats and dogs, and then I do a little table. I do, what do you call them? A hutch. Fun fact, I never knew it was called a hutch until I played The Sims. I thought it was called like a china cabinet, because that's what I've heard it been called before, like a china cabinet. But in The Sims, it's called a hutch. So I put a hutch in the dining room. I find them very useful in dining rooms just because it has all the fine china and dishes and stuff in it. It makes sense for it to go into the dining room or a kitchen. I feel like if you're one of those people that likes things on display, it could easily go in the living room as well. I think that's a cute concept. If you want some other kind of like storage units in places of the houses. I always struggle when it comes to entryways, hallways. I did not know what else to put in there. I felt like they would be a bit mixed matched, like, or mixed matched. So I didn't feel like everything would always go together so well or work out so well. I think it's hard to do it on purpose. Like, I feel like I might do things that don't match very well, but that's probably personal. It just happens because that's how I've looked at things and thought, I like the way that it looks together. But like trying to deliberately make things not match or look like they've all been bought at different times and different places. Some things are older, some things are newer. It was difficult to do because I was trying to like almost go with a bit of a modern take, but then I realized like, no, I don't feel like they would be quite modern in their approach to furniture or things like that. So I think potentially the living room is probably the most modern-ish room. It's hard to tell. I feel maybe the living room, and I don't feel like it's as cluttered as it could be. I feel like I tried to make all the rooms feel kind of cluttered or just at least used and used frequently enough. So that's what I tried to do with the dining room, the living room, the kitchen. I don't think that I feel like the bedrooms don't feel very cluttered at all. Maybe the teen room a little bit more, but everything still looks like it has its place. So it was kind of difficult. I tried to put radiators everywhere because I don't feel like I use them enough in my build. So I thought I would throw in some radiators into this build, make it feel a bit more homey and cozy. And I also was a bit stuck for like extra details to add into the house, so radiators help. I wish we had more. I really wish we had some more different variations of radiators, because those ones are very... I think, to be fair, I feel like they work in a lot of builds, but if you want to do something really modern, I think you might want some like newer radiators. But for the most part, it worked. Ended up putting some like shoes in the corner of the hallway. So it's kind of like a double hallway. So it's like your entryway when you come into the build, and then you've got the half bathroom on the right and then the kitchen on the left. And then through the kitchen you can walk through into the dining room and the sunroom. And then there's a second kind of entry between the living room and the back garden, and then the, what do you call it, dining room. So it's kind of, you can kind of like you can't really full circle it. If you go into the house, you can go into the kitchen, dining room, come out, entry, and then go into the living room. So, I mean, I wanted it to flow well. I didn't want Sims to be stuck places or have it be difficult to get from one room to the next. So I wanted it to flow quite well. So I used quite a few archways where I could. And then I just put in like another dining spot in the living room. To be fair, once I built the house and looked at the floor plan, I was like, the living room's quite big. I'm definitely going to fit in a second living space. And I did a build recently where I was using furniture from Cottage Living. And I used like the kind of like burgundy, I don't know how to describe the tone. It's like a reddish tone, but it's not a super bright tone. It's quite a nice like tone of red. And I used that in the living room, and I really liked the way it came together because I used that in like a lot of brown, dark wood tones. And so I tried to recreate it because I was like, I don't want to use the same furniture, but I think in the end I do use the same furniture with different swatches. Because I was like, I don't want it to feel exactly the same, but I did also want it to be the same. So I really struggled between like do I go with the same kind of scheme or do I try another one? So I feel like the sofas look a bit odd out, like the odd ones out. But I kind of like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe they made that choice because they like the sofas, but everything else in the house doesn't really match those sofas. But they've got the sofas before they got everything else. Or maybe the other way around, like maybe the sofas are pretty new and everything else doesn't really match, and they're kind of working through the house to like, or even at least working through the living room to get everything to match up a bit better. Because the sofas are kind of like that green emerald colour, and then everything else is kind of brown and like neutral. So yeah, trying to get it to all match in was a bit tricky. And because it was such a long room, I could have easily split it up and put an archway in between it as well. Like I could have done that. And you will see me have to, I think I have to put in like BB move objects again, because I do stop and come back into the build. Because I started building and I was like, okay, I'm kind of reaching that point where I just want to stop now. So I ended up, what do you call it? I ended up coming back to it and then finishing it. So what I did was like pull all the furniture out for the rooms and then like furnish them as I went along. So that's why I believed I was like speeding through this. I was like, it's fine. This build is going to be a nice, sweet, short one. Or I don't think short, but I thought at least like 32 minutes maybe. And I was like, that's fine. So when I started editing and I could see the time, I'm like, what did I do? What happened in that time for this video to like rack up that much time? Because we're like, what, 20 something minutes in, and I feel like, yeah, there's not much left to this build, but clearly there is. So I end up just cluttering up. So I'm putting some like random like details in the house, in the living space. I feel like it's very separate, so I could have easily put a wall and separate it that way. I feel like it might have made it flow a little bit better. But like I said, I just wasn't sure what to put in the space. Like I had space and I just didn't know what to do with it. Which tends to always be the case. Like I want to fill up all the space, but then I don't know what to do with the space that I have. So I ended up putting shelves above the TV, which I've started to do a bit more recently. I often feel like the space above the TV just feels a bit empty. I could have put a clock up there, but I think I put a clock somewhere else in this living room, or I don't put a clock at all. I can't remember if no, I do put a clock, because I put the clock on the, what do you call it? The like turntable. I think there's another name. There's probably another name for the stereo that has like this, the actual oh, it's on the top of my head. Not violin players. Why can't I? What is this disc's called? Oh, it's on my top of the head. Like I know what it is, but I don't. I forgot what it's called. But the big record players, basically. Those ones, like people collect the big records for them or whatever. But yeah, I can't think of the word for some reason. I'm not super happy with the way that the office turned out. I feel like it was a bit dim. And I wasn't 100% sure what the office space would be used for, but then I kind of came up with the concept that the grandfather is like so into nature that he writes books about maybe birds that he's discovered. Like I felt like he's just on like a nature kind of journalist. So originally I was going to put the photo up of, I think, one of the paintings that you can get from when you're like watching the sky or something. But in the end I kind of went with the nature. So I was going to put a mounted fish, but then I thought maybe if he's into nature he might not want to put a mounted fish on his wall. I don't know. You know, so I decided to go with the bird pictures, which I think it's cats and dogs. So like the little feathers that you get in the debug menu or the live edit menu, if you put it on the wall, it just automatically changes to a little framed photo of a bird. So I just put a few of those on the wall. And maybe he just does some bird watching, he goes for a walk, does some bird watching, and then kind of like writes up notes on that, or writes a book on the birds that he's seen. So maybe that's what he used to do. He used to do a lot of like nature documentaries and things like that. So now he's kind of like reeled it in a little bit, and he's doing his own kind of like bird watching, just checking things out in his neighborhood. But yeah, I felt like the office isn't like a huge space that's used up a lot. It's probably where he just goes if he wants to write something, but he's probably not in there all the time. I feel like they're both quite outdoorsy. Maybe the grandfather a bit more than the grandmother. I think the grandmother loves to go to town and like interact with all the village, like people in the village and the different places. She probably goes and helps out with a lot of things. So if there's people that need help with a fair or thing, I feel like she's there to help out. Whereas like the granddad, I think he would probably want to help out as well. But I think for the most part, he probably likes his time by himself. He probably likes to write and he likes to just walk the dogs. And he likes to spend time at home. I think he's a bit more of a homebody than his wife is, which, you know, I like the concept of that. And then once I'm done with the office space, I then move up to the second floor, which I do the landing. I just put some like seating out there, some more decorations. And then I think I move on to the grandparents' room or the infants' room. I can't remember. And like I said, the infants' room felt a bit empty. Like, when I finished it, I was like, it's missing something, but I'm not sure what. But I feel like if you download this build and you play with that kind of storyline, or if you have an infant, you can put some photos up. And I know we get, like, I think baby's first handprint or something like that. But this was before I got my hands on the Grown Together pack, which I have. Which I didn't state, but I kind of did when I spoke about the fact that I haven't really played around with anything yet. But yeah, I have a new pack. I just haven't had time to play around with it yet. I've just edited households with family dynamics and maybe changed some clothes and outfits and stuff. But I haven't actually properly played with the pack. So I'm looking forward to doing that over the kind of Easter weekend. Having a little play with it. So I think that's probably why I want to start my own legacy. Because I want to play with that. Play through a bit more of the Grown Together expansion pack. Because I think it adds a lot to the game. It's just a shame that it's like... I mean, I get it to a point you have to pay to like get stuff in the game, but sometimes I'm like, I wish certain things were just part of the base game, because I think everyone should have access to certain things that I feel like just should be part of the game anyway. But you know, it's a business, they gotta make their money somehow, so you know. It is what it is. But I thought, you know, a little nod to the fact that they have pets, I would put that. I think it's my first pet stuff sofa in there. Might be the only thing that I've used for my first pet stuff now I'm thinking about it. So this is definitely not a pack limited build at all. I've definitely gone crazy with it, because there'll be definitely things in here from some packs that I might have used once, and then other packs where I've used 2 things, maybe more or less. So even like I go into the infant's room and then I use the cushion that came with the little campus kit, which I got myself recently, and I don't think I used anything from that campus kit. So I do apologise if you don't have certain things, and like 1 or 2 items I'm missing just because of that. So I wanted to do a base game build, I just didn't know what kind of build I wanted to do, because now that we have infants, I haven't actually done, like, I have done a base game build, but I haven't filmed it. I did a base game, like, house, well, I did, like, 2 houses next to each other, some, like, British style homes, and I decorated it with, I think, just base game. I can't remember if it was base game and, like, get together or get to work or something like that, because I have, like, get to work on my laptop, and I also have dine out, and I think that's about it on my laptop. I'm getting to the, like, I really want to get myself a new laptop so I can get City Living on my laptop, and then, like, I'm trying to think of university, because those are the 2 main ones that I really want on my laptop at the moment, just because I feel like those ones add a bit more depth to your story, like your Sim story lives and storylines generally. So yeah, those are the ones I'm like working myself up to, but I'm like, I need a new laptop, because this one is going to refuse to load if I download any packs for it. So that's on my wish list. That's something I'm working towards. So I would have done the infant's room, and like I said, it probably went by quite quickly, because not a lot happened in there. I just put in the essentials essentially, and then like used a lot of the clutter that came with base game, and also base game, because actually I didn't use Grown Together here. And I originally put a bassinet in the teen's room because I thought maybe she was pregnant at the time, or she just had the baby. But then I kind of was a bit tight for space, so I got rid of the bassinet and just went with the idea of like the infant's already here, and they've moved to Hempton Bagley, which I honestly couldn't imagine moving with an infant. Like, could you imagine moving? I'm trying to think of where she'd originally lived. Like, maybe she'd lived in like Newcrest or something, or I'm trying to figure. I don't know. I'm trying to think of somewhere that probably had a bit of a busier lifestyle. So it's going to be like a culture shock coming from somewhere a bit busier like Newcrest to Hempton Bagley, where everything's kind of like very communal. You can go places to do grocery shopping and stuff. Like, I don't know, they're probably not got to the point where they've got Uber Eats and that kind of stuff at Hempton Bagley. It's all, I mean, we have got like the food delivery services, but it's literally going to be like on a bike or on foot, because everyone's so local. Whereas, you know, it's not going to be a motorbike or a car kind of thing. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting shift, but I decided to get rid of the bassinet, go with a few more details. I went with this like pink and cream theme for the teen's room, so I think this is how she wanted to decorate it essentially. So maybe when she got here, the room was completely blank and she just bought a few things. So like maybe her granddad took her shopping to buy stuff for the bedroom. I think it potentially got her the bed already, and the bed was probably already there ready for her to at least, you know, fall asleep on. But in terms of like furniture and stuff like that, she's probably had to go out with the granddad to find stuff that would suit her and suit the room. So I ended up just going with it, like this pink and cream kind of theme. And I did keep all the bedrooms carpeted, and I also carpeted the like top landing. I kind of like the idea of it, and it did make me want stairs with carpet on it. Like, I don't know why, but I don't know why I like the concept of it, but like stairs with carpet, so then I can have a carpeted second level or something. I don't know, but we'll see. I don't know if they'll ever give us like carpeted stairs. I don't know what they would look like in The Sims, but I'll be intrigued to see what it looks like. And then I also put a bookcase in the teens room as well. Like, I felt like that space looked quite bare, so I fit in a desk which squeezed in quite nicely. I did some random like clutter details as well. I wanted it to feel lived in, obviously, and put as much as I possibly could into the build. And yeah, I really after I've done the teens room, I move on to the grandparents room, and I really wanted to use the bed that we got from high school years, like the 4-poster bed. And I looked at the swatches, I was like, yeah, I can make one of those swatches work. And then it just was so hard to make it feel like it's a grandparents room and not like a, I don't know, like the bread spreads just seemed a bit too busy, and like even the white one, I was like, it just doesn't. It feels like a hotel almost. So I think I ended up swapping it out. I can't remember what bed I ended up using in the end, but I swapped it out for another bed, and then I also give them a bit of a backsplash, and I changed one side of the wallpapers to the wallpaper that we got from, I think, Paranormal Stuff Pack. I think it's the wallpaper I used. I think. So yeah, I think I ended up using the bed from Cats and Dogs because they came with some like, nice swatches, and I decided to go with like this blue theme, and I think like white and blue, and I really wanted to do like a built-in wardrobe system, so I ended up just using the cabinet pieces, or like I think it's cabinets, isn't it? So yeah, I ended up using the cabinet pieces that we got in base game, and just like using the full tile of those over on the side where the kind of door is for the ensuite bathroom, so it kind of just looks like that wall was full up of wardrobe space. And then I also used a little like mirrored vanity table, like drawers with, I think that one came from Cottage Living, and I just put some clutter on there as well. So I went with this like blue theme. I can't remember if I changed the wallpaper, so I think I just had that feature wall and then potentially changed the other walls to like a warmer tone. I can't remember what I changed it to. I remembered to put laundry baskets because we obviously had a washing machine in the kitchen. And I think once I've done with the grandparents' bedroom, I move on to their bathroom, and then we move on to the exterior landscaping because I haven't done any landscaping. I think I started it, but didn't like the way it was, so I thought, let me just start furnishing inside, and we can come back to it. In the end, I think the outside looks so overgrown, and I felt like they probably wouldn't let it get that overgrown. Maybe they have recently, just because they've been a bit busy, maybe with the new infant coming and things, so they haven't got around to it yet, so it's a bit overgrown. But I felt like they'd probably take a lot of pride in their front garden, and it wouldn't be as cluttered or like even just overgrown as it is now, because I don't think it's really cluttered, it's just overgrown. Like the hedges are a bit high, there's just a lot of bushes. I kind of like the way it turned out. It looks very like enclosed, and you would honestly think it was all like closed off, but it's not. I didn't even use fences for the back garden. I kind of felt like the lot it is and like the town it is, I just felt like it was safe enough for it to not need to be kind of boarded up. And also the garden space wasn't very large, so I didn't really put anything out there really. I just put, so we've got like a porch, like back porch, so I ended up just putting some seating and stuff out there, and then I ended up putting like a chess table as well out there. And then on the actual like ground, the grass, I just put some toys for the dogs. I put a washing line. I didn't feel like they would use a dryer, I felt like they would use a washing line. I love the smell of clothes when they've dried in the washing line, so yeah, that's just one of the things I love the most. Well, not the most, but it's one of the things I really like the smell of. So hopefully we get a good summer. I mean, to be fair, we've had like heat waves the past couple of summers, so if we have a good summer, all my clothes are going out on the washing line to dry, because I just love the smell and the feel of like clothes that are dried in the sun. It's just, I don't know, I love it. Dryer is great for when you're like cold and you want to like dry your clothes or dry maybe a robe or a bed sheet, and you put it on. Oh my god, that feels so nice. Currently speaking about it, my robe and my cover is in the dryer, so I'm waiting for that to be in there so I can snuggle up in bed, maybe watch some TV. I'm trying to think of what I've been watching lately, but I can't even remember off the top of my head. Oh no, I've been trying to watch Scandal again. I think I started it ages ago but didn't finish it, so I'm trying to watch that. And I've started rewatching The Office again, so I'm like right at the end of that one now. I think that's all that I started rewatching. I did watch The Swarm, or Swarm I think it was called. I think it's just called Swarm. I watched that over the weekend. I actually enjoyed it. I liked it. I do like me a little thriller, so it was interesting. I liked it. And I'm trying to think of what else I've watched. Nothing really. So, yeah. I don't think there's much to say because I do the Landscaping, I add some furniture to the porch area. I think I add in stairs, like raise the foundation. So you just see me kind of do some terrain paints and to just finish up the landscaping, sorry. So yeah, I will leave you guys to enjoy the rest of this speed build. I'm so sorry it's so long. Hopefully there's some things I can trim out. I don't know, because I feel like when I edited it, I was like, I've trimmed it as much as I can, surely. But hopefully I get better as we go along, and I get better at kind of like trimming out things I don't need, or just cutting down my building time, because I feel like I take so long to build. So hopefully I'll speed up. But if you do want this build, it is up in the gallery. I believe I called it like grandparents and like teen parent house or something like that. I can't remember, but it'll be essentially the most recent on my gallery because I haven't uploaded anything since then. So my gallery ID is Saabythesimmer, or you can also search Saabythesimmer. I always leave those details in the description for you. If you want to give this video a like, I'd very much appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And I will be back on stream this Saturday. I did try and stream last Saturday. I did stream, but we had some technical issues and I was tired. I just kept yawning. So I'm hoping this time around, considering we have Friday off, I will be feeling a little bit more rejuvenated. Even though I am going out for drinks on Thursday night. So I don't think I'll be hungover Friday because I don't really drink heavy anymore. I normally just drink 1 or 2 drinks and then that's it. So wish me luck. Because I'm going for drinks with colleagues that I haven't been for drinks with before. So we'll see what happens. So hopefully I'll be fine on Friday. And then that means Saturday I'll be up and ready to go. I mean, I do have errands to run anyway on Saturday, so I should be fine. But yeah, I shall see you Saturday for my stream. If you're not already following me on Twitch, you can give me a follow there. And then you'll be notified every time I go live. The link for that will be in my description. And I'm trying to think of anything else I need to show you guys. Leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate it. So if there's anything you want to see me build, any suggestions, any things you want to suggest for me to do on this channel, do leave them in the description. The comment section. I'd much appreciate it. If you have any questions as well, leave them in the comment section. And I shall get back to them. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next week for a new video. Bye! you.